Hello and welcome to another tutorial in our Kotlin programming course. This is the first chapter. We will work on Android Studio. We will start now developing applications for mobile devices, which is the objective of this and the next course. And we will create our first Android Studio project. For that, I will create here. Once you install Android Studio, you will have these options. I will press here on start a new studio project, and here the first screen you will see is a number of options, a number of templates on which to build your first project, okay, first phone project, first Android project. You will see that in this category, which are phone and app and tablets, you have a number of activities to use as templates. What's an activity? The activity is the main class, or where is the main function in which the application executes. All Android phones application have an activity. They all have to execute with everybody has a main entry launch activity. It's where the application launches or executes at the first time. From here you can move to other activities, but you always have to have one that starts, in which the application starts. And Android Studio gives us the option to choose a number of templates in which it generates the code for us by itself. The only problem with that is that if you choose one of these templates, it will generate a lot of code, and if you're not an expert, or at least you don't have experience, you won't really know how to understand the code. So we will not use any of these for now, only the empty one, which is the basic, okay? But if in the future you want to create a Google Maps activity, you can see here, we can create activities also inside our app, so you don't worry. This is the entry point activity. This is the first one, but you can add more. You can add as many activities as you want to your own app later on, okay? We'll also have different other options depending on what you're going to develop, if it's for Wear OS, TV, media service, or Android Auto, okay? Which is for those who have an Android in their car. You can create an app for your car. This is a new one under things peripheral activity. This is in general for Android things, which is based on Internet of Things, okay? But the thing is that because all of them really share the same process of development, we just have to use this one. It's the same as any other, okay? So we will choose empty activity. And once we choose empty activity and put here on our left, we have to give a name to the app. We're gonna call it hello Android app, okay? Here in the code package name, we will generally have you can edit it, okay? You can put whatever you want here, okay? But in general, the convention says that the first three letters is if it's a company, you will put COM, company. The second block will represent your company's name. In my case, is Gevulot. And the third section is called the name of the app. What is really the package name? The package name represents both the place where you're going to create all your development files, class, of Kotlin of any kind, and it will also be a unique package name representation for other applications to use if you decide to share your code with others, so they can import or use your code. They will have to import or bring into their code this package and be able to access all the files in these packages, okay? This is the location it will be stored. In my case, it's in dev Android Android app. You should choose always the Kotlin language by default. Java, we're not using it anymore. The minimum API level has to do with the percentage of the complexity of the phones. The newest phones use Pi, for example, okay? The problem is that Pi, as only 1% of the devices use Pi as the operating system, yes? So you have to choose a operating system that a version of the operating system that most of the phones use right now in the market. So most of your application works in all of them. Okay. You can choose 16, you can choose 19. We're still in 95. As long as it's above 90, you're okay. If you're going to choose above less than 90, you will start having problems. Now compatibility goes downwards. It means that if you choose, or upwards, sorry, if you choose in a 4.1 version of compatibility, everything that comes upwards, like for example a 7.1, will be able to execute this. It doesn't work the other way around, which means that if you choose a 7.0, if the app is compatible with API 424, it won't be compatible with the previous one. So you have always to be careful with that. I will choose a 16, which is a very basic and stable, but you can choose, for example, a 19 or 20, yeah, or 21, no, 21, 85, you can choose 19, we're okay as well, okay? Let's choose Jelly Bean, and let's go. You can activate this if you want, and just leave it without it. Later on, it may ask you if you want to add the instant apps, okay? Just leave it like this, okay? Let's finish. Once you finish, the project, the Android Studio will start creating your project. It takes some time, depends on the speed of your computer. You'll see that it's building stuff, load build, configuration build. Okay? It's building the structure of your project. You will have to wait, okay, until it ends, and then you can start developing. Okay. Meanwhile, I will explain the structure. Now it's showing it. Once it finishes, it will change also the view. Okay, it will change the way it shows. You see, it changed the way here. Now it shows app, which is the name of the app component, the basic app component inside our project. You see, hello Android app has the app component, and inside the app we have all our projects. Okay, the project is divided in three main sections. Okay? The manifest, the Java, where we have the code, where we program, we have the Kotlin, or what we did until now in IntelliJ, we have to develop here, and the resources, which will contain both images, sorry, it doesn't really show it, but it will contain images, for example. It's not, for example, this one. It will contain text, which you may use in your app. You have the strings.xml, which is a text. You can add more strings, more text. The name of the app by default is Hello Android App, but you can change it and you can add your own strings. Here we put our static information or text that we're going to use in our app. For example, predefined colors. You can define predefined colors here. Define styles. We will see it in the future. And the rest section is all related to resources. We will work on this one, so keep it open. We will work on this one, and we will on Android Manifest. We're not going to work yet, not for now, in the future. The Android Manifest is the metadata of the app. It contains all the properties, all the function properties. So when you install the app in an Android phone, the Android phone will read this and know exactly what your app needs to work. Okay. Now, we will work on the main activity and on activity main. The main activity is the controller side, okay, or the presenter side. There are two main methodologies for structuring the app. You have the MVP and the MVC, okay, the model view presenter and model view controller. In both cases, you can consider this as the controller or the presenter. It really doesn't matter, okay? Here, we will program anything we need, the logical side, which will react or will interact with the user through this view, okay? This is the view side. So if we consider it as a face and a brain, this is the face of the person. Here we add all the visual sides of the person, the face, the mouth, the eyes, or whatever. And here we have the brain. This is what the thinking does. We will manipulate and change the visual side by programming everything here inside the code here. And that's the overall structure of our project. The next section, we will finally start adding stuff working on the project or the program. One final thing before I forget, you may need to add here, okay, an emulator if you want to then execute the app in the phone. Now I already have an emulator here installed, so I will execute it, and we will see the app running. But if you because you don't have any device created, you will have to go into this Open AVD Manager, and then when you get into the AVD Manager, you will see something like this. You won't have this one. You will have to create a new virtual device. Okay, I recommend the number 9. You have to download it. I already downloaded it, so it doesn't ask me to, but you will have to download it. Once it's downloaded, you will be without the download name here, and you can press next. And then in the next, you just create, that's the final step. You have to give it a name. If you want to look it in portrait or landscape, always keep it portrait. And then when you finish, it will appear like this here, and you will be able to just execute it with the play. It will appear here as well.